USFL, it starts, guys. We're going to have real football back on our screens. It's the inaugural season. And DraftKings announced this week, Pearce, because I've seen articles from you. You are all over the place. You are so talented. We love you. That we will have USFL DFS contest for this season, which starts tomorrow. New Jersey Generals taking on the Birmingham Stallions. Slightly different, too, Pearce, from NFL with DFS. So you can have a quarterback, running back, 2 wide receiver tight end slots, 2 flex spots, and a DST. So help me out here, Dietrich. How are you approaching? This USFL season? Because I am struggling to follow along.
Dietrich has gone deep in the annals of USFL.
I've gone way too deep. I'm in way too deep. But there's 2 things that you should do. So I've read everything that is out there, and there's limited information for people to create articles and videos based on. So what has happened is every article and every video mentions the same exact players, and we don't know what any of these roles are really going to be. So strategy 1, fade these guys that everyone is playing. Strategy 2, no one at all has mentioned defense. Everyone is saying, I'm going to play this guy and that guy, and in no video and not one article do they think about the defensive matchup. Imagine that. Fantasy football, and we don't look at any of the matchups. So one of the things that you can do to separate yourself is try to look at some of these defenses and decide who's good and who's not, and then target them. So fade the chalk, and then try to look at defenses to build your matchups.
Is that right? Well, Geoff, Michigan Panthers quarterback Shea Patterson is the highest salary for week 1. 10-5. 10-5. Your favorite DFS play, is that your guy? You're going to go somewhere else?
No, I mean, look, I think Patterson could be a good fantasy play from the perspective if he can run a bit, but that is what the roster construction I think is going to boil down to. It's not the traditional, oh yeah, let's stack this guy with the stud wide receiver. Like you can stack here, but these teams, it's going to be ugly. Pearce mentioned defense. Yeah, I think I would be taking a lot of the unders here. Again, if some of these teams get over 200 passing yards, it's going to be a good day. There's going to be very limited situations that you're going to be wanting to actually stack and say, okay, this team is really set for a big offensive workload here. It's going to be a lot of rushing. And I think at quarterback, there's very limited options where you're going to go feel good about a quarterback wide receiver stack. The other thing is we don't know how the wide receivers are going to be used. So I don't mind Shea Patterson. If you're going to stack, the only passing quarterback I will even consider here is Kyle Slaughter. And you can pair him with a couple different guys there, Poindexter, Tawan Taylor, both good options. And Slaughter is the one pocket passer here who we actually have some data on. But if you're not going to go with him, you can go with Patterson. You can go with another rushing quarterback because the rushing yards on offense is really what you want to target, in my opinion. Don't get sucked in to the traditional, we're going to get a 400-yard passing day. It's most likely not going to develop at all in this league.
Reid, you are a former CFL expert for us, so tell me who your USFL guy is this weekend.
Yeah, no, I like what these guys are saying. Jordan Ta'amu is probably going to be the most, the heaviest, that's not even a word, heaviest rostered player in this on this slate because of what Geoff just talked about, right? He was a rusher in college, but my favorite guy is Derek Willis. You talk about Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, again, has the best offense, right? Not even the Buccaneers, but now, in the USFL, that's probably the one guy. Look, Eli Rogers was drafted first on this team, and he was just cut by this team. And now you get Willis, who's at $6,600. He's massive. He's 6'4", 220 or 210. And if you look at all his measurables, it's fantastic. He's a big receiver with a great burst. And you're probably getting the best stack, right? So Willie's is probably my favorite, and Tampa Bay is probably the odds-on favorite to win this whole thing.